Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be wealthy and happy, everything begins with clarity. You must first understand that nothing meaningful, no success, no deep joy can emerge from confusion or vague desires. People often say they want a better life. They say they want more money, more freedom, more peace. But when you ask them what exactly that looks like, they hesitate. They struggle to define it. And that hesitation becomes the very block that keeps wealth and happiness out of reach. The truth is simple. The universe does not respond to indecision. It rewards the focused, the committed, and the clear. If you want to build a life of wealth and joy, you have to start by knowing what that life looks like to you. Not according to society, not according to your family's expectations, but according to the inner truth that whispers to you when the world goes quiet. Because wealth and happiness are not one size fits all. For some, wealth means building empires. For others, it's having freedom of time. For one person, happiness might be traveling the world. For another, it might be creating art in silence. Clarity means defining success in your own terms and pursuing it with full alignment. The reason most people don't get what they want is because they never truly decide what they want. They let life choose for them. They drift through jobs, relationships, and routines, waiting for something or someone to create their dream life for them. But wealth is not accidental, and happiness doesn't arrive by default. They are outcomes of clarity, intention, and consistent action. Imagine a ship sailing without a destination. It may stay afloat, it may move, but it will never arrive anywhere that matters. That's how most people live, always moving, but never arriving. That's why clarity is the first transformation. You must get specific about what you want. You must write it, visualize it, speak it, and feel it. You must know what your wealthy life looks like, down to the smallest details. What does your ideal day look like? How do you feel waking up in the morning? What kind of work are you doing? Who are you surrounded by? What values guide your decisions? Without clarity on these questions, your efforts will be scattered. Scattered energy produces scattered results. Clarity also gives you power. It simplifies your life. When you're clear on your destination, you can say no to distractions. You can walk away from jobs, people, and environments that don't align. You become less reactive to external chaos because you have an internal compass guiding you. That is wealth in itself. Freedom from noise, freedom from confusion. People often mistake business for productivity. But true progress only happens when energy is channeled in the right direction, and clarity is what gives you that direction. Another truth is that clarity brings peace. When you know who you are and what you want, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop chasing goals that were never yours to begin with. Stop feeling like you're behind because you realize you're on your path and it's not meant to look like anyone else's. That kind of peace is a form of happiness that no amount of money can buy. And yet, ironically, it also opens the door to more wealth because focused, peaceful people move with power. They act with intention. They don't waste time or energy. You must understand that clarity is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Every day, you are either reinforcing your vision or drifting from it. Every conversation, every decision, every habit, these are bricks in the foundation of your life. Are you building toward your vision or away from it? Are your thoughts lifting you or limiting you? Are your actions aligned with your desires or contradicting them? You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be intentional. And intention is born from clarity. This is not just about goal setting. It's about identity. Who do you need to become to live the life you see in your vision? What mindset must you adopt? What beliefs must you release? What environments must you avoid? What habits must you form? The clearer you become, the faster your transformation happens. You stop acting out of fear and start moving from purpose. And once you're rooted in purpose, happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you carry. And wealth isn't something you beg for, it's something you attract. So if you want to be wealthy and happy, the first step is not outside of you. It's not in the market or in a strategy or in a job title. It's within. It starts with asking the hard questions. It starts with getting honest. It starts with choosing not to live by default, but by design. Because the moment you get clear, the universe responds. The moment you decide with certainty, life begins to shift. The fog lifts. The distractions lose power. And the path ahead becomes visible. If you want to be wealthy and happy, the transformation must begin within. Your mindset is not just a part of the process, it is the foundation of everything. What you believe about yourself, about money, about happiness, and about the world shapes every decision you make and every opportunity you recognize. Most people live trapped by their own beliefs. They've inherited a mindset of limitation, fear, and doubt. They don't even realize it, but their thoughts are working against them. And until that changes, no external strategy will ever be enough. Your mindset is the filter through which you see reality. Two people can look at the same situation. One sees possibility, the other sees failure. One sees an obstacle, the other sees a lesson. One says, I can't. The other asks, how can I? That difference is not about intelligence or luck. It's about mindset. And that difference changes everything. You can have all the talent, all the resources, and all the potential in the world. But if your mind is programmed to expect struggle, lack, or disappointment, that's exactly what you'll experience. So many people have been conditioned to believe that wealth is for others, that happiness is temporary, that success always comes with sacrifice. These beliefs don't come from truth, come from repetition, what they heard growing up, what they saw around them, what they accepted without questioning. But beliefs are not facts, they are habits of thought. And like any habit, they can be changed. You are not locked into the mindset you were given. You can choose to upgrade it. You can choose to think differently. And when you do, your world will begin to change. The wealthy don't just think about money differently, they think about themselves differently. They see themselves as valuable. They believe their ideas matter. They trust in their ability to learn, to adapt, to figure things out. That kind of belief becomes a magnet for opportunity. And the happy don't depend on life being perfect. They choose their state of mind. They practice gratitude. They reframe challenges. They take responsibility for their emotions. They understand that happiness is not what happens to you. It's how you interpret what happens. If you want lasting change, you must do more than work hard. You must think better. Most people are trapped in cycles not because they lack effort, but because they lack awareness. They keep planting seeds of fear and hoping for fruits of abundance. But the mind doesn't work that way. You attract what you are, not what you pretend to be. You attract what you believe you deserve. And if deep down you feel unworthy, success will feel like sabotage. Even if you get it, you'll find a way to lose it. Because your subconscious mind will always pull you back to the level you think you belong to. This is why self-image is so powerful. You can't outperform the identity you carry. If you see yourself as broke, you'll act in ways that reinforce that. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you'll unknowingly seek out struggle. But if you start to see yourself as powerful, capable, worthy, and resourceful, everything changes. That shift won't happen overnight, but it starts with awareness. Start observing your thoughts. Start questioning your doubts. Start choosing better beliefs. Say to yourself every day, I am worthy of abundance. I am capable of creating wealth. I deserve to be happy. These aren't just affirmations, they are declarations of identity. Your mind is not your enemy. It's your greatest tool if you train it. And training your mind is like training your body. You have to be consistent. You have to be intentional. Every time you replace a limiting belief with a liberating one, you gain power. Every time you respond with calm instead of chaos, you gain peace. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, gain control. That's how transformation happens, one thought, one decision at a time. A wealth mindset is not about greed or obsession with money. It's about believing in expansion. It's about knowing that there is enough and that you can create more. It's about seeing yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a creator of possibility. And a happiness mindset is not about pretending life is perfect. It's about focusing on what's good, even when it's hard. It's about trusting that everything is working for your growth. These mindsets don't just make you feel better, they make you better. They shape how you show up, how you solve problems, and how you live your life. So if you truly want to be wealthy and happy, look within. The external world will only ever reflect the internal one. And when your mind begins to align with your vision, you'll start noticing things you never saw before. Ideas will come. People will appear. Energy will shift because your mindset is not just a mental game. It's the key that unlocks the life you desire. If you want to be wealthy and happy, you must understand that discipline is not just a trait, it's a bridge. It is the bridge between your dreams and your results, between intention and manifestation. People often talk about goals. They dream big, they visualize success, they speak affirmations. But without the daily discipline to back those desires, nothing happens. The world doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to action. And that action must be focused, repeated, and intentional. That's what discipline really is, the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is often misunderstood. People think it's about restriction or sacrifice. But in reality, it's about freedom. It's about taking control of your time, your focus, and your behavior so that you're no longer a slave to emotion or distraction. It's about deciding that your long-term vision matters more than your short-term feelings. That kind of decision gives you power because every time you choose consistency over comfort, you grow stronger. And every time you grow stronger, your life starts to align with the vision you've set. Without discipline, clarity is wasted. You can have the clearest vision of what you want, whether it's financial independence, inner peace, or a fulfilling lifestyle, but if you're not willing to do the work consistently, that vision will remain just that, a vision. This is where most people fall short. They start with enthusiasm, but when the excitement fades, so does their effort. They chase motivation, not realizing that motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Wealth doesn't come to those who work hard for a few days. It comes to those who stay committed for years. The people who build lasting wealth aren't necessarily the smartest or the luckiest. They're the ones who wake up and show up day after day. Even when no one's watching, they develop habits that support their vision. They follow routines. They eliminate distractions. They stay focused on their purpose. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful, because behind every overnight success story is a decade of discipline that no one saw. The same is true for happiness. People assume happiness is just an emotional state that comes and goes, but true happiness, lasting, deep, grounded happiness, is a result of how you live. It's built through discipline too, through the decision to feed your mind with empowering thoughts, through the choice to take care of your body, to protect your peace, to distance yourself from negativity. It's in the discipline to unplug when you need rest, to say no to drama, to stay grateful even when things are tough. These are not always easy decisions, but they are powerful ones. And happiness follows those who consistently choose alignment over chaos. Discipline also helps you stay in integrity with yourself. Every time you set a goal and follow through on it, build trust with yourself. You prove that your word matters, that your actions match your intentions. This kind of self-trust is essential, because without it, you'll always doubt yourself. You'll hesitate, you'll delay. But when you trust yourself, when you know that you will follow through, then confidence rises. And with confidence comes momentum. And with momentum comes results. This is how the cycle of growth is created. The truth is, discipline will cost you comfort. It will require sacrifice. It will ask you to get up earlier, to stay focused longer, to say no more often. The trade-off is worth it, because while comfort gives you temporary relief, discipline gives you permanent progress. And that progress is what builds both wealth and happiness. It's what turns a vague dream into a lived reality. It's what separates those who wish from those who win. You must stop negotiating with your future. Stop making promises to yourself that you don't intend to keep. Every time you procrastinate on your goals, you delay the life you truly want. Every time you choose short-term pleasure over long-term purpose, you move further away from your vision. Discipline is about reversing that pattern. It's about choosing to show up with excellence even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the small things right again and again until they lead to big results. And the beautiful part is, discipline is a skill. It can be trained. You're not born with it or without it. Develop it by making one decision at a time. Start small, set a goal, stick to it. Prove to yourself that you can follow through. Then build on that momentum. Over time, those decisions compound. They build strength, they create results, and eventually they create the life you once only dreamed of. So if you want to be wealthy and happy, don't just dream, don't just plan. Train yourself to act with discipline, because discipline is the bridge, and it's the only way to cross from where you are to where you truly want to be. If you want to be wealthy and happy, you must learn this fundamental truth. Value creates wealth and service creates fulfillment. Too many people are focused solely on what they can get, how much money they can make, how fast they can achieve success, what's in it for them. But real wealth doesn't come from chasing money. It comes from solving problems. It comes from showing up in the world with a mindset of contribution. The most successful people, the ones who sustain both wealth and happiness, are not the ones who chase, but the ones who serve. Serving doesn't mean you have to be a saint or give everything away. It means recognizing that your wealth will grow in direct proportion to the value you bring into the world. Whether you're a business owner, an artist, a teacher, or a creator, your job is to make life better for someone else. When you make someone's life easier, when you help someone solve a pain point, when you offer insight, joy, hope, clarity, something valuable happens, and value always attracts compensation. It may not come immediately, but it will come. Because the law of life is simple: give more, grow more. Wealth is a byproduct of usefulness. The people who rise are the people who make things better. And the more people you help, the more doors open. If you want to earn more, serve more. If you want to become irreplaceable, care more, go the extra mile, bring excellence into everything you touch. That's what makes people remember you, recommend you, trust you. That's what builds a reputation. And reputation builds relationships, and relationships create opportunities. Money follows those who lead with impact, not those who chase with desperation. But service also creates something deeper. It creates joy. When you know that your existence is improving the lives of others, it adds meaning to your journey. It's not just about making money, it's about making a difference. That's the kind of happiness that lasts, because the soul is not nourished by selfish gains. It's nourished by knowing that you are needed, that you are contributing something real. Some of the happiest people in the world are not the wealthiest by numbers, but by meaning. And meaning comes from giving. The truth is, we live in a world where most people are looking out for themselves. So when you show up differently, when you lead with value, when you seek to elevate others, you stand out. That's a rare quality, and rare qualities create rare results. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you show up with the intention to add, not just to take. Every interaction becomes an opportunity. Every conversation becomes a chance to uplift. Every problem becomes a moment to prove that you are someone who brings solutions, not complaints. You don't need to have a massive platform or a huge following to make an impact. Start where you are. Use what you know. Look at the skills, knowledge, experiences you already have. Someone out there needs exactly what you can offer. Someone is struggling with what you've already overcome. That's not accidental. That's purpose. Your past pain, your lessons, your strengths, these are your tools. And when you use them to serve, you unlock more abundance than you could ever imagine. And this principle doesn't just apply to business. It applies to relationships, to personal growth, to life itself. If you want deeper connections, serve with empathy. If you want peace, serve with forgiveness. If you want meaning, serve with authenticity. The happiest people are not waiting to be served. They're actively contributing. They find joy in lifting others. And by lifting others, they rise themselves. Service also breaks the cycle of scarcity. Focus only on getting, fear creeps in. You worry about losing, about competition, about not having enough. But when you focus on giving, abundance flows. Stop fearing lack because you're focused on contribution. And contribution always multiplies. The energy you give returns to you, often in unexpected, beautiful ways. It's not just a spiritual law, it's a practical truth. People want to work with givers. They want to support people who support others. Your service becomes your brand, your character, your power. So if you truly want to build a life that's both wealthy and happy, ask yourself every day, how can I serve? Who can I help? What problem can I solve today? And when you live with that mindset, everything changes. You no longer chase success, you attract it. You no longer search for meaning, you create it. And the wealth and happiness you once dreamed of begin to unfold, one act of service at a time. If you want to be wealthy and happy, you have to stop being pulled by the noise of the world and start living from a place of inner purpose. We live in a time where distractions are everywhere. The moment you open your phone, turn on the TV, or scroll through social media, the world floods your mind with opinions, trends, fears, and expectations. You're constantly being told who to be, what to want, and how to live. And if you're not careful, that noise becomes your compass. You begin to chase what's popular instead of what's meaningful. You begin to compare instead of create. You begin to react instead of choose. And in that reactive state, true wealth and deep happiness become almost impossible to attain. To live a wealthy and joyful life, you must detach from that noise. You must tune out the voices that don't align with your vision and turn up the volume on your own intuition. Your purpose isn't found in what's trending, it's found in what's timeless within you. It's found in your unique strengths, in your quiet passions, in the moments when time disappears and your soul feels alive. That's where your power lies. And when you align your actions with that purpose, everything changes. You start to move differently. You stop needing validation. You stop chasing approval, because purpose gives you direction and direction gives you peace. The people who rise to extraordinary levels of wealth and happiness aren't the ones who follow the crowd. They're the ones who are guided by something deeper. While the world zigzags in confusion, they move with certainty. That certainty doesn't come from external knowledge. It comes from self-awareness. It comes from reflection. Comes from knowing what you stand for and refusing to be shaken by every shift in the world around you. That kind of clarity is rare, but it's also magnetic. It draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy towards you. The problem is that most people are addicted to the noise. They wake up and reach for their phone before they even reach for their thoughts. They spend more time consuming than creating. They listen to the opinions of others more than the truth inside themselves, and then they wonder why they feel lost, why they're anxious, why they can't seem to make progress. It's because they've outsourced their direction. But wealth and happiness are personal journeys. No one else can define them for you. No algorithm, no headline, no influencer knows your soul's purpose. You have to take that power back. This is why stillness is so important, taking time to think, to disconnect, to ask yourself hard questions. This isn't luxury, it's necessity. Because in stillness, truth speaks. You begin to hear your own voice again. You begin to remember what really matters. You begin to see the patterns of your own thinking, the fears that have been driving your choices, and the clarity you've been missing. And from that awareness, you can start to design your life intentionally, not based on noise, but based on alignment. Living from purpose also helps you make better decisions. When you're grounded in why you're doing what you're doing, it becomes easier to say no to distractions. It becomes easier to ignore temporary trends, shortcuts, and emotional impulses. You're not swayed by pressure because your path is already chosen. You don't need to rush because your timing is rooted in trust. You don't need to impress because your self-worth is already intact. That's the kind of power that builds sustainable wealth. That's the kind of mindset that leads to lasting happiness. And here's what most people don't realize. Purpose is not always loud. It's not always about changing the world or making headlines. Sometimes purpose is quiet. Sometimes it's in the way you treat people, in the work you do with love, in the way you show up even when no one's watching. You don't need to be the loudest to be the most impactful. You just need to be aligned. Because when you live in alignment, your life begins to flow. Resistance fades, clarity grows, and what once felt difficult begins to feel natural. Wealth in this state is not something you chase, it's something you receive. It comes to you through ideas, through relationships, through inspired action. And happiness becomes more than a fleeting feeling. It becomes your default. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're living in truth. Creating from wholeness, you're no longer divided between who you are and who the world told you to be. So if you want to be truly wealthy and deeply happy, make this choice, unplug from the noise and reconnect with your purpose. Let your life be guided not by the chaos outside, but by the clarity within. Everything you're looking for begins there. If you want to be wealthy and happy, you have to understand the incredible power of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a feel-good emotion. It's a mindset, a vibration, a way of life that transforms how you experience everything. When you live with gratitude, you elevate your energy. You shift your perspective. Stop focusing on what's missing and start recognizing what's already good, already abundant, already working in your life. And that shift is what creates space for more. Gratitude doesn't make you passive, it makes you magnetic. It aligns your mind and heart with abundance, and abundance responds to that alignment. Most people believe they'll be grateful after they become wealthy, after they find happiness. But that's backward. You don't wait for success to feel gratitude. Cultivate gratitude now, and that energy begins to attract more success, because what you appreciate appreciates. What you give attention to expands. When you wake up every day and recognize the blessings you already have, you begin to train your brain to notice opportunities. You become more present, more focused, more empowered. Stop taking things for granted and start treating your life like a gift. That's when the magic begins. Gratitude also breaks the cycle of scarcity. Scarcity is the belief that there's not enough, never enough money, time, love, or joy. But gratitude says, I already have more than enough, and I'm open to receiving even more. That belief alone shifts everything. Scarcity makes you desperate, fearful, reactive. Gratitude makes you calm, grounded, and receptive. When you operate from lack, you push abundance away without even realizing it. But when you operate from appreciation, you become a magnet for growth. Because abundance can't enter a mind filled with fear. It enters a mind filled with peace. And this doesn't mean you ignore challenges. It doesn't mean you pretend everything is perfect. Gratitude isn't denial, it's perspective. It's the ability to find meaning in the mess, to find lessons in the pain, to recognize that even in the hardest seasons, something inside you is growing stronger. It's being able to look back and say, I didn't like it, but it taught me something. It helped me evolve. That kind of mindset creates resilience, builds character, and character is what sustains both wealth and happiness over the long run. Gratitude also keeps you connected to your purpose. When you're grateful, you stay focused on what matters. Stop chasing shiny distractions and start valuing what's truly important. You invest more in relationships. You appreciate your progress. You honor your journey. And in doing so, you live with more depth. The world constantly tells you to get more, achieve more, hustle more. But gratitude tells you to slow down and feel more, to enjoy the present moment, not just the destination. Because real wealth is not just about how much you earn, it's about how alive you feel while earning it. Happy people don't have perfect lives. They simply see life through the lens of appreciation. They find joy in small things, a kind word, a warm meal, a new idea, a quiet moment. They understand that happiness isn't hidden in the next big achievement. It's hidden in today, in right now, in the breath you're taking, in the chance to start again. And when you live from that space, you not only feel better, but you also perform better. You think more clearly. You solve problems with creativity. You connect with others more deeply, because gratitude unlocks your highest self. The wealthy who remain grounded are always grateful. They don't let success blind them to the beauty of simplicity. They remember where they started. They remember the people who helped them. They stay humble, and that humility keeps them open to learning and growth. Gratitude keeps your ego in check, keeps your spirit light, and that lightness allows you to move through life with grace instead of pressure. That's why gratitude is not optional. It's essential. Make it a practice. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Think about it before you sleep. Wake up with it in your heart. Let gratitude become your baseline, not your afterthought. Don't just wait for things to go right. Train your mind to see what's already right. Train your heart to find gold in the ordinary. Because the more you do, the more you'll realize that the life you're trying to build is already unfolding, one grateful moment at a time. So if you want to be truly wealthy and deeply happy, start by being grateful, not later. Now, gratitude doesn't just change what you have. It changes how you see it, and that changes everything. So if you truly want to be wealthy and happy, it begins with clarity, knowing exactly what you want and aligning your life with that vision. From there, it demands a powerful mindset, one that believes in abundance, refuses to be defined by limitations, and embraces growth in every season. But belief alone is not enough. You must back it with discipline, showing up every day with consistency and purpose, doing the work even when it's not easy. You must learn to serve, because wealth follows value and happiness follows meaning. You must protect your focus, silence the noise, and live from your purpose, not from the distractions of the world. And most importantly, you must live with gratitude, appreciating what you have while opening the door to even more. This journey isn't about chasing more. It's about becoming more. The life you want isn't outside of you. It's waiting to be unlocked from within you.